Sophie Cunningham owned Jacy Sheldon from the same game that Marina Mabrey did the massive body slam into Caitlin Clark on. She still owns Jacy. She still owns Jacy Sheldon. And what's great is she's got a great sense of humor about it, and she's not shy about it. I mean, what are they going to do?
Sophie Cunningham just turned the WNBA into her personal say it with your chest showcase, and the punchline landed squarely on Jacy Sheldon, the same Jacy who got a little too handsy with Caitlin Clark. This wasn't some quiet behind-the-scenes message. Sophie went full broadcast mode. She delivered it on the floor, she delivered it to the fans, and then she etched it in ink. So the real question is simple. How much do you love Sophie? Let us know down in the comments below. Because from where Fever Nation is sitting, this is exactly the energy the league's brightest star deserves at her side.
This is kind of crazy. This one is kind of crazy. When you get Sophie Cunningham to sign a Jacy Sheldon rookie card with property of, that is crazy. That is crazy. Property of Sophie Cunningham.
Here's the reality most teams pretend doesn't exist. When your teammate is Caitlin Clark, a walking sellout, a ratings cheat code, a target for every cheap shot artist with a grudge, you either protect her or you stand around looking decorative while opponents treat her like an open invitation. Sophie Cunningham picked door number 1 and slammed it on people's fingers. This all traces back to that circus of a game. The same one where Marina Mabrey tried out for special teams and truck-sticked Clark after the whistle. But before Mabrey auditioned for the NFL, there was Jacy Sheldon warming up with a "let me test the boundaries" shot that had Fever fans ready to introduce her to a league-wide penalty box, if only the W had one.
Third quarter we go. They're trailing by 10. Keep an eye on her and Jacy Sheldon. Clark trying to back her down.
Clark is okay.
Sheldon, that was Clark, hitting her in the face. Clark is upset about that. Then everybody's upset about that. Marina Mabrey comes in. She decks Clark, tempers flaring on both sides.
Sheldon, already curating a reputation for accidental contact that always seemed to land on Clark, threw in another unnecessary bump. And Sophie? She didn't add it to a complaint folder. She added it to her to-do list. Later in the game, Cunningham delivered a clean, firm reminder, the kind you feel in your shoulder blades, that targeting Caitlin comes with interest. It wasn't dirty, it wasn't reckless. It was the basketball version of, "we saw that. Don't try it again." And then Sophie did something most players won't. She kept the energy going when the lights weren't game clock bright.
Sophie commits a hard foul on Jacy Sheldon. Again, as Jacy Sheldon is going up for a layup, Sophie bear hugs her and takes her to the ground. What I will say is Sophie did not grab her and throw her to the ground. She didn't body slam her. She didn't do anything, in my personal opinion. Maybe I'm biased here, but I'm gonna give you guys my straight up honest opinion on this. She bear hugged her, took her to the ground. Yes, it was intentional.
Fast forward to a Fever fan event. Sophie's in full community mode, signing programs, smiling for photos, chopping it up with the people who show up 2 hours early and leave hoarse. A fan slides over a Jacy Sheldon rookie card and asks for a signature. Not just Sophie, not a heart, not a number. They want a statement, a stamp, something that says what the whole building had been thinking.
See, she's the problem. She is the problem.
Sophie takes the card, grabs the pen, and writes across the front, "Property of Sophie Cunningham." That's not a scribble. That's a declaration. That's, "You want to press our star? Cool. Here's the bill." It's also a memo to the rest of the league. There's an enforcer in Indiana, and her paperwork is in order. Sheldon, consider yourself officially put on notice.
Sophie Cunningham would take her rightful place as the Indiana Fever enforcer, and I believe took the first step to her becoming the second most popular player in the WNBA. Sophie Cunningham is everywhere. Arby's, walking in. She's best looking woman walking into these WNBA arenas. I mean, Black Belt Barbie, anybody? Black Belt Barbie.
The clip hit social like gasoline. Lexi Hull, sitting next to Sophie at the table, dissolves into laughter while the fans lose it. It's one of those rare, perfect moments that blends rivalry, humor, and unfiltered competitiveness. The stuff that actually builds a team's culture and a fan base's identity. It wasn't staged, it wasn't branded, it was pure Sophie. Sharp, funny, and crystal clear about who she's riding for. And the best part? She didn't backpedal. No. Oh gosh, I was only kidding. No notes app apology. Sophie leaned in. That's what you want from your enforcer. Consistency. Because let's be honest, every great team needs one. Gretzky had one, Jordan had several, Kobe had a few who wore the technicals for him. Curry has Draymond. And right now, the WNBA's most watched player has Sophie Cunningham, protector by choice, shooter by trade, and apparently a part-time notary for rival guards.
Sophie Cunningham has been Caitlin Clark's biggest cheerleader and defender.
And it literally like pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What? When people try to argue that she's not the face of our league,
Yeah.
or if our league would be where we're at without her, you're dumb as
Yeah.
You're literally dumb as
The sad truth about this video we just watched is she is the first WNBA player I have seen to openly say this out loud, publicly, and not be ashamed in declaring it.
But here's the twist that makes this more than just a tough guy act. Sophie isn't some end-of-bench body who exists to collect fouls. She's producing, big time. Since the break, she's been torching nets, stepping into threes like she owns the arc, and stacking 15, 18, 20-point nights while everyone else is still rubbing their eyes. When the Fever needed buckets against Phoenix, Sophie delivered 18 on command while a few teammates forgot what city they were in. Enforcer energy is cute. Enforcer energy plus efficiency, that's how you win games people remember.
Caitlin Clark is the reason we have been talking about the WNBA. Hate it or love it, it's true. I don't believe that Caitlin Clark necessarily wants that title that everyone has been giving to her. I think she just wants to be appreciated. And Sophie Cunningham, she just seems like such a real one, such a good friend. I think especially with women, especially elite level athletes, there's a lot of people, women, who will kind of stab you in the back. There's a lot of jealousy, a lot of resentment, especially when you're good. But Sophie just seems like such a girl's girl. I really, really like her. Maybe Caitlin Clark should do the next American Eagle campaign, or Sophie Cunningham.
So when Sophie wrote property of Sophie Cunningham, it didn't feel petty, it felt proportionate. Fever fans roared because it wasn't just about that one bump or one shove. It was about a season's worth of non-basketball contact finally getting a public return address. It was a teammate saying, "Our star isn't running solo anymore," and saying it with ink, not emojis.
And what do you guys think? Do you guys think this means anything? Like, obviously, when you get a Sophie Cunningham signed a Jacy Sheldon card, like, I think we should see that more in sports. Like,
The dominoes lined up perfectly. The autograph became a meme. Fever fans embraced it as canon. Clark's fans, an army at this point, saved it to their camera rolls. Even neutrals who are exhausted from watching Clark get targeted nodded and hit share. And then the wider narrative clicked into place. Jacy Sheldon's young WNBA journey, drafted by Dallas, rerouted to Connecticut, shipped to Washington, already had a little turbulence. Now her biggest headline wasn't a breakout scoring night or a defensive masterclass. It was this: the guard who took her shot at Caitlin and the guard who got claimed by Sophie Cunningham.
This is hilarious. It really is. Indiana Fever star takes humorous jab at Caitlin Clark villain. You got to love an Iowa Hawkeyes wire headline. That's really good. That's Jacy Sheldon. Congratulations. That's all you're known as. The chick that was mean to Caitlin Clark. That's your legacy. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, you've been traded, and I don't think you're much of a basketball player.
You could hear the cheer roll through Fever Nation when that clip hit timelines. It's not just the joke, it's what the joke represents. Team identity, teammate accountability. A line in the sand that says, "You can't make your name by taking aim at ours." That's good basketball and good business. It gives the locker room something to rally around, gives the fans a story to tell, and gives opponents a reason to think twice before they chase TikTok clips at Caitlyn's expense. And that's why Sophie's become, without debate, the second most beloved Fever player behind Caitlyn herself. She's got edge without ego, swagger without silliness, and actual production to justify the noise. She'll hit the deep three, take the charge, flash a grin, and then sign a rival's rookie card with a mic drop. That is a brand. That is a role. That is a teammate.
Sheldon, who was selected number 5 overall in the 2024 WNBA draft by the Dallas Wings, following 5 seasons at Ohio State, has quickly established herself a very negative opinion for both Hawkeye and Fever fans after her June 17th flagrant one on Clark and her eventually uncalled for knee to the right groin area during the July 15 clash in Boston as a member of the Connecticut Sun. By the way, can you stay with the team? You got selected by Dallas. You're already on your 3rd squad in 18 months. God.
Let's be honest, though. Sophie versus Jacy would be a non-story if the league had protected its main attraction like every other professional league protects its megastars. But it didn't, and that's why the autograph landed like a headline. From Carter's blindside to DeShield's hip check, to Mabry's after whistle shove, to Sheldon's accidental hands, the pattern speaks louder than any press conference. The referees looked the other way too often. The fines hit the wrong wrists, and opposing guards realized there was content to be mined from poking the bear.
I just think, and you know way better than me,
Yeah.
but like, it just feels like people are jealous of this new little wave of.
They are, but I
rookies.
just hate that because like this is what we've always wanted as a league. So like, who cares who gets the credit? And if you're smart, you're making money off of them.
Yeah.
Like you are literally making money from the viewership.
And why bully the person who is like not 100% responsible, but like has a huge role in growing your sport?
Dude, and it literally like pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What?
For Indiana Fever fans, the Jacy Sheldon incident carried an extra layer of annoyance. This isn't a seasoned vet we're talking about. It's a role player whose WNBA resume is still warm from the printer. Yet somehow, she's already becoming more famous for cheap fouls than for actually producing on the court. Drafted 5th overall by the Dallas Wings in 2024, Sheldon didn't even make it through a full season before being shipped off to another team. Now, she's making headlines for throwing hits at Caitlyn Clark that have nothing to do with playing real defense. That's not exactly the career blueprint you follow if you want to be respected in this league. And Sophie Cunningham? She saw all of that and decided Sheldon's tough girl act needed a reality check.
It was, to me, payback for what was happening the entire game. But she did it in a way that she wasn't going to injure Jacy. She was just making it known, like, if the refs aren't going to handle it, I will handle it. We'll take care of it, but this is not what you're going to do when you come into our house. It was an intentional foul. It was a hard foul. She brought her down. But with that, you guys, Jacy Sheldon got up and she was ready to go. So as you guys can see in this video, a whole scuffle breaks out. Sophie and Jacy are going after it. Both teams are running over, trying to break it up. It kind of goes into the fan section a little bit.
On the floor, Sophie is that rare kind of player who can flip the energy of a game instantly, not just with her scoring, but with her presence. She's the one you watch when Clark takes a hard foul, because you know something is coming back the other way. She's not the type to let anything slide. That's why that autograph event moment exploded online. It wasn't just funny, it was a statement. When Sophie signed Property of Sophie Cunningham, it was her way of saying, this is my matchup. I own it. You're not steamrolling my teammate without hearing from me.
In the first half, the refs didn't call. Someone should have been thrown out, and the refs did not call it.
Correct. I remember that.
They didn't. And so I was like,
That
all
was when
right.
she got full body
Dude,
chested.
by 3 people.
Yeah.
Like 2 people, they're like, oh, it's fine. I'm like, if that was anyone else, I would have been booted out of the game. I know that for sure. I'm a little sassy, but like, so are they.
Your leash is shorter though, because they know.
Literally. I don't even have a leash. I just have a freaking collar and a hand on it. Anyway, so there was like 45 seconds left. The girl stole the ball and I was running back and I was like, we're up. I don't need to foul. And I was like, just let her go. And I was like, all right, like, who cares? Last second, intrusive thoughts. I was like, fuck it.
And let's be clear, Sophie's not all bark. Since the All-Star break, her stats have been among the best of her career. She's been drilling threes, hitting double digits and scoring on a regular basis, and showing up big when the stakes are highest.
She's got all the aura right now, all of it. Got the podcast, and a damn good one. I mean, when's the next podcast drop? News is getting slow. There's got to be at least 3 or 4 good things in every Sophie Cunningham podcast.
That's why when Sophie plays the enforcer role, it means something. She's not an end-of-the-bench player trying to make noise for attention. She's a key contributor, producing on the court, setting the tone, and holding her teammates accountable through action. In many ways, she's a throwback to the old-school enforcers in sports. And in today's WNBA, Caitlin Clark has Sophie Cunningham watching her back. That's critical, because Clark's entry into the league has been a double-edged sword. She's brought more attention, ticket sales, and television ratings than the WNBA has seen in years. But along with that spotlight has come an unprecedented level of physical targeting, more than most second-year players have to deal with. If the Fever didn't have someone willing to push back, the message to the rest of the league would be dangerous. That Clark is open season. Sophie's making sure that message never takes root, and she's doing it in a way that fires up the fans in the process. That mix, on-court production and off-court personality, is the perfect formula for becoming a fan favorite.
One of the biggest stars the WNBA's ever
Who's that?
had. Her name rhymes with Schmaitland.
Heartland?
Yeah. What has that been like, seeing her not only kind of transform a league, but also just be like,
No,
is that fair to say?
not even just the league, but like
The
women's
sport,
basketball as a whole around the world. No, I think it's awesome. I think it's so funny because she's like 22, 23 years old and the whole world is watching her.
Yeah.
And the fans have responded exactly how you'd expect. Social media lit up with clips of the autograph exchange, memes dubbing Sophie Black Belt Barbie as a nod to her martial arts background, and even calls for merch with "Property of Sophie Cunningham" plastered across it. Meanwhile, Jacy Sheldon's public image is moving in the opposite direction. Ask the average WNBA fan about her, and they'll probably bring up the groin knee, the foul on Clark, and now getting publicly roasted by Sophie. These moments stick, especially in a league where storylines are often just as important as stats.
God, I wish we had more teammates, or I wish more teammates of Caitlin Clark would get this fired up when their transcendent superstar, who's now hurt and has missed half the games this year, has been the target, that some of the other players would get a little bit aggressive on behalf of Caitlin Clark. Get in between something. You never, this is in the NBA. Every team in hockey, Wayne Gretzky, Michael Jordan, I mean, these transcendent stars, it's always the goon, the enforcer. In this case, Sophie Cunningham, I mean, normally these guys, they're not really putting up numbers. The difference here is Sophie Cunningham is a real basketball player and a hell of a good one.
Right now, the prevailing narrative is that Sophie Cunningham isn't afraid to check anyone who targets her teammates. And that's doing more than just protecting Clark. It's setting the tone for the whole Fever roster. The unspoken rule is clear. If you're on this team, you protect the stars. You don't just stand there while they take hits. And that's exactly the mentality the Fever need. Clark's game thrives when her teammates create space, absorb contact, and force opponents to think twice before going after her. Sophie fits that mold perfectly, and her unapologetic approach is winning over neutral fans too. Those who may not follow the Fever closely but respect players who stand up for their own. In a league still clawing for mainstream traction, personalities like that are worth their weight in gold. What makes this even more significant is how rare this kind of public jab is in the WNBA. Sure, players get chippy during games, but taking a public shot at an opponent during a signing event? That's next level. Sophie's not just defending Clark in the heat of the moment. She's building a brand as someone you do not mess with. That's why the Black Belt Barbie nickname resonates so well. It's not just about martial arts skills. It's about the balance of talent, toughness, and swagger. Sophie's not in this league to be universally liked. She's here to win, and to make sure her teammates can do the same without being harassed every game.
And you got tossed.
And it was 2-on-1. Yeah, I got tossed.
Did she?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we're good. But so in a situation like that, does Caitlyn come up to you after and say like, because the internet whole thing was, look at fucking Sophie sticking up for Caitlyn, like this is dope.
But I was.
No, I know you were.
But in the locker room, I think she was like, finally, you know, like finally someone else. I was like, dude, I got you. Like but I think that kind of had our team come together as a whole. And it's like, no, we gotta have like, it was
awesome.
Yeah, no, it really was though. Like, I feel like everyone was like, you know, like we do have to protect each other.
And make no mistake, this is going to linger. When the Fever face the Sun again, this storyline will be front and center. Fans will be watching for any sign of Sheldon trying to make a statement. And if Sophie responds, the cameras will be ready. Clark's safety will be part of the conversation all game long. That's the power of having an enforcer. It changes the mental calculus for opponents. It's one thing to deliver a cheap shot when you think you won't be challenged. It's another when you know Sophie Cunningham is waiting to make you pay for it. At the end of the day, Sophie didn't just put Jacy Sheldon in her place. She sent a message to the entire WNBA. And given how this season has gone, it's a message the Fever probably should have sent months ago. So now the question is, was Sophie's property of Sophie Cunningham moment the perfect way to clap back? Or did it just pour gasoline on the fire? How much do you love Sophie? Let us know down in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen and we will see you in the next one.